baby. That was a well-coached game. That's a game where you're going to hear me give Steve Kerr accolades. Well-coached, well-played, well-executed. They overcame a Stephen Curry hamstring injury. Larry Krueger, I see him getting ready in the green room. He's going to join me in just a second. Frank Red is going to join me in just a second. That was beautiful. That was Warriors basketball. They have a 1-0 series lead. It's the Krug Show. It's Golden Days. I'm pumped. Hope you are too. Let's rock and roll and get into it. Larry's joining me in just a second for the Krug Show and the Golden Days.
Woo! Let's go. Come on and break me off. 'Cause I get what I want and I like what I see. If you got
I see Larry in the house. Hey now. Go. Golden Days. Larry, it's a 1-0 series lead, brother. Great to see you. Great to see the Krug Show audience. Great to see the Golden Days audience. Great to see everybody. I'm in a good mood. That was a well-coached game, a perfectly executed game. The Warriors take a 1-0 series lead on a night that could have been marred by Stephen Curry's hamstring injury, but they overcame that because strength in numbers is a real thing. Larry, great to see you, brother. Your immediate reaction to the Warriors.
My immediate reaction is that we're in the wrong spot. We need to switch spots because I'm under.
You're right. You're right. I apologize.
There we go.
I apologize for that. Good call. Good call.
Huge win. I mean, huge win for the Warriors. What a win. I mean, Steph Curry goes out in the first quarter, and I mean, this T-Wolves team, I mean, Anthony Edwards was so passive tonight. I mean, you're the star, man. You're the main guy. It's like you got to take it over. I thought he was very passive. He was letting the game come to him, and it just never came to him. On the other hand, Kerr, I thought, was masterful tonight, knowing that, his team's gassed. They're emotionally gassed coming out of the last series. He played a bunch of different people. He got guys off the bench early. He had used 10 guys, I believe, by the second quarter. So I like the way they came out. I thought he made a couple of really good decisions tonight. And then, I mean, to me, it's like, I was always wondering, because I knew Minnesota, it's the NBA, everybody makes a run. Without Steph, how were the Warriors going to finish? And to me, my favorite sequence of the night, Gary Payton in the corner, late in the fourth quarter, hits the dagger three. Edwards on the other end answers with his own three, and then Buddy Hield made it 96-84 with the true dagger shot. And just a great win for the Warriors. They win despite losing the points in the paint by a massive margin. Golden State, they won on the glass tonight. They were plus almost 40 at the 3-point line. And on a night without Steph, I mean, that is such a huge, huge win for Golden State. It's even better than if Steph had been in the game because, I mean, obviously, we were worried about
agreed.
We were worried about Steph and his hamstring and how it all affects everything going forward. But let's just say he's going to be okay, and that's not going to be an issue. Yeah, I mean, this is almost preferable because it's an emotional dagger in game one to go into another team's building, beat them on their home floor and when they're all rested and ready and you're still dragging a little bit, game 7. And I thought to steal this one and then also to then send the message, we can do this without Steph Curry. And I thought this was Draymond Green's masterpiece because in the minutes after Steph went out, Draymond was this was a game played. If you look at the numbers, this was a game played almost entirely in the half court. There was I think Warriors may have had like 6 fast break points. This was not an up-tempo game, but that's where he was trying to push the tempo, get some early buckets or some easy offense, I should say, without Steph. And I thought Draymond, stepped up in the first half and shot the 3 ball with confidence. And I just think that gave them a huge lift. So huge, absolutely huge win for Golden State in every way. Looney had some great veteran plays. It was good to see Kuminga on that finish where they were kind of scissoring and Green threw him the ball and he drove right to the bucket. I'd love to see a little bit more of that, because Kuminga can finish like nobody else. So it was a great win. Great win for Golden State.
He played 13 minutes in this game. And Larry, I don't think I heard you mention a name of a player who will probably earn, unless I get pushback on this, tonight's player of the game honor is brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, brought to you by Visit Humboldt. And that player for the second game in a row is Buddy Hield. He's him now. Like all season, this man has been criticized. This man has raised a lot of questions about why he's getting the minutes he's getting. Consistency has not been his thing. He had that red hot start to the season where he was routinely leading the Warriors in scoring, and it's a huge reason why the Warriors had that 12-3 start. If he plays like this consistently for the rest of the postseason, the Warriors are champions. There's no team in the NBA is stopping him. Buddy Hield tonight, 24 points. He follows up that insane 9 of 11 shooting from 3 Game 7 performance with 5 of 8 shooting tonight from deep on a night where they desperately needed his scoring, especially with Stephen Curry out with an injury. This was a game of runs. Like every time the Warriors seemed like they had this game under control, you'd see a run by the Timberwolves, and routinely it was Buddy Hield who would stop those runs. And there were a lot of other X factors in this. We're going to talk about Jimmy Butler, obviously. We're going to talk about the man with the most beautiful porn mustache on the planet, Pat Spencer, who is showing his value on this Warriors team, stepping up with Stephen Curry out. But Buddy Hield, dude, my Lord. Is there any contest, Larry? Is Jimmy Butler even in the discussion for player of the game honors, or does Buddy have it for a second game in a row? He's fantastic, dude. I don't know what the hell to make of this, but I am thrilled.
Well, he's in a unique spot, in his career because he's got experience, but he's not old, and he literally can rewrite, how he's viewed in the league by how he plays right now, and he knows it. And he's a pure shooter. He's a pure shooter, and on a floor that includes Steph Curry, a lot of times he's going to get some good looks, and then it's a matter of, can he knock him down? And, I don't know. He had some moments in the regular season that were obviously not that great. He's had some moments where he just looks like, whoa, if he's not giving you offense, he's not giving you anything. I mean, there were days where he started in the backcourt with GP2 and GP2 outscored him. Mm-hmm. Well, Buddy's got to score, but he can score and he can go for 25. Heck, he can go for 35. So that's, having guys like that, it's like, I think of so many of the great NBA championship teams of my lifetime. So many of them, had great veteran scorers that could just heat it up heat up in a minute. And, Buddy, if he keeps raining down threes, what I love too is look at the turnovers, not a single turnover. The guy took 19 field goals, played 40 minutes, and didn't turn it over once all night.
Yes.
And that's really efficient ball. So, yeah, he kind of reminds me in a baseball sense for Giants fans of like Cody Ross back in the day when Cody Ross, when the Giants won the World Series in 10, 12, and 14. Why? Because, that's who Buddy Hield. I mean, he's not a star. And Cody Ross wasn't a star. You can make an argument Buddy Hield's not even always a starter, but and he's had some but that's the beauty. I mean, I always wondered, what would a pure shooter who can get his own shot and create for himself, he's really crafty at and how he can kind of free himself up. He's pretty athletic. How would he exist in a Warrior scheme? Well, it's hard, right? Because Steph is so freaking good, but he's also, without Steph, a guy that can totally step up and score big bunches of points, and they needed him to, and he did it.
But we welcome Frank Red to the show now. This will likely be the threesome unless Dan Coccimiglio shows up, which he probably will about an hour and a half in. But look, the postseason has been fantastic. And this second round of the postseason, we have 4 world-class series in front of us. Each one of these in any other year could be an NBA Finals series. We got 4 of those right now. And the Warriors, I feel like, were under a lot of pressure in this game 1 because similar to the other 3 series, every underdog has won so far. The higher seeds have yet to win a game in any of these series. And I don't think it's a coincidence because each of the higher seeds dispatched their opposition early. Minnesota finished the Lakers in 5. Boston finished Orlando in 5. The Knicks were the Knicks technically were a higher seed, but then again, they're now, they won their game because they were kind of fresh. You look at the Cavaliers, who had the biggest differential in postseason history for a playoff series and sweeping the Miami Heat. My point, and the Thunder, right? They just lost to the Nuggets. All these top seeds had an easy time in the first round, and I feel like they came into the second round with a little too much rest, if that makes sense. Like rust was showing a level of unpreparedness for a drastic increase in competition level, and each of these higher seeds have gotten knockouts, have gotten uppercuts, landed on their chins that they were not prepared for. And thankfully, the Warriors took advantage, just like the other 3 teams did. Each underdog incredibly ahead in their series. None of the higher seeds have won yet. Frank, good to see you, sir. Your reaction to the Warriors winning and the fact that the underdogs so far are in control of all these series, Warriors included.
All right, let me say that when I look at the playoffs in general, when the talent level is even, and we've talked about this being the most even, the closest playoff maybe in history in terms of talent. So when the talent is even, the onus is really on execution down the stretch. And those teams that lost those games did not execute. That's why they lost. OKC gave that game away. And Cleveland gave that game away. The Golden State Warriors are simply better than Minnesota. If you ask me, would the Warriors beat Minnesota without Stephen Curry? I wouldn't take that bet. But with Stephen Curry, this is a better team. And I'll tell you why. Minnesota doesn't have a backup point guard. All right? You're going to have bad shooting nights. When they don't make shots, there's no one there to drive to the basket to get easy buckets. The Warriors do it in their offense because they cut. So they get easy baskets. So it's not predicated on them making shots all the time. The Warriors are a phenomenal defensive team. Whenever people talk about
Yes, sir.
Size doesn't matter if you are 6'6", 6'7", or taller.
Fair.
So we're going to talk a lot about it, but the Warriors are aligned properly defensively, and it's hard to score against them. So
I'll tell you, the other thing is I don't think the trade, I don't think Minnesota did too well in the trade, to be honest.
Julius Randle, did not do anything tonight. By the way, Frank, do you have the box score in front of you?
I do.
Of the game?
Yeah, I do.
So you brought up the point guards. Do you mind telling the audience what Minnesota's 2 point guards did tonight? I'm referring to Mike Conley and Dante DiVincenzo. How did these 2 do tonight to support your point?
Okay, Mike Conley Jr. was minus 12 plus minus ratio 0 points. Nickeil Alexander-Walker 0 points minus 13.
Oof.
You can't win. You cannot win. If Steph Curry plays or not, if the Warriors play their game, they're not going to lose to Minnesota. What was interesting to me was listening to highly paid analysts on television consistently pick Minnesota. I'm like, what are you guys looking at? Do you understand basketball?
I don't think they look as good as the team they had a year ago.
Good point.
The one thing there are games, like if you watch the last series, Gobert had a 27 and 24 game. You know what I mean? So that's in there. And so that, to me, that's you got to respect that, that's possible. And you got to make sure that doesn't come out in this series. But man, the way Minnesota shot the ball, my God, I mean, was it a bad night or is this a bricklaying team? I mean, the horrendous 1 for 5 for Edwards. Conley missed 2. McDaniels missed 3. Randall missed 3. Naz Reid.
First half points, Larry, for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I mean, it was all it was like they just could not score at all. But you know, the thing about it is Edwards just looked like, even though he had 23, if you looked at this box score, you'd be like, oh man, Edwards, 14, 23 points, 14 rebounds. He was awesome. He was a total zero. He didn't even score. What was his first bucket? Was like late second quarter.
Oh, Anthony Edwards. I think he had one first half point. So his first actual field goal, I believe, came in the third quarter.
It did in the third quarter.
Crazy. Yeah, you're absolutely insane.
I mean, he was the guy. I mean, he is the guy, right? He's the best. He's this great young player who's as good as any young player, it seems like, in the game. But there was a passiveness to him tonight. And I don't know if it was the layoff or what, but to me, it seems like everything's got to be about him, and then they got to play off of him. And I didn't see that tonight. I mean, what did he have for assists? He only had 2 assists all night.
Yeah, they did a good job. And again, I think this plays off, Frank, your point about the Warriors defense, which stuck out to me. And I really do. I know this might be a bold statement, but I really do believe the Warriors are in the argument for having the best defense in the whole postseason. I mean, a lot of people were talking about the Rockets last series and criticizing their offense in terms of the points scored or lack thereof, and not much credit given to the Warriors D, which has been exemplary ever since Jimmy Butler got here. They had the number 1 defensive rating in the NBA since Jimmy Butler got here. I mean, so the statistics confirm it, the measurables confirm it, and Jimmy Butler tonight, if gentlemen, if you don't mind me shifting gears to his performance, because when Stephen Curry went down, and I'm going to play a clip in just a second from Dr. Narap Paranda, forgive me for mispronouncing the name there, but he's a routine media member, an actual MD who loves giving reports on player injuries. And we're going to get his perspective on Stephen Curry's hamstring injury in just a second to get a better understanding of what's going on. I believe Anthony Slater tweeted something out recently that it's a day-to-day injury, which brings a shit ton of relief. Side note, the Warriors were 7-5 this season without Stephen Curry, which is not the norm. Almost any other season, when Stephen Curry misses games, the Warriors have a losing record. Goes to show the depth of this team this year. They can survive without Steph, and especially now that they have Jimmy Butler. 20 points tonight, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, a very complete game from Jimmy Butler. I thought that the biggest moments from him were getting to the free throw line in these tense moments where the Timberwolves had these runs. He was quelling these runs, and those trips to the free throw line sets up your defense, makes it harder for Minnesota to score. I love Jimmy. Larry, your thoughts on Jimmy Butler tonight? Playoff Jimmy didn't blow the doors open, but he was facilitating, scoring when needed. I thought it was awesome.
Well, I mean, Jimmy Butler is a total pro, and the reason why he's such a great fit here is that he is a basketball savant at this point. I mean, this guy's you're getting the smartest player. I mean, you gain knowledge and you become a smarter player. Usually your physical, skills erode, but you become smarter. His physical skills have kind of maintained, and yet he's way, way smarter. I mean, look at the first half. Steph was in there. Jimmy Butler had 6 points. In the second half, without Steph, what does he know he needs to do? He knows the team needs points. So he had 14 in the second half. So, he's going to do what he needs to do for his team. And that's what I love about Jimmy Butler and why it's fit, so hand in glove, because Jimmy Butler is a genius. It's about, is he happy? The Warriors traded for him, and then they made him happy with the contract. And now they're getting the best of Jimmy Butler. And the best of Jimmy Butler can blend with any other 4 guys. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. And and to me, what I also love is he's another one of these guys that can finish, and it seems like Pods likes to finish people. And it seems like Hield likes to hit the dagger shot. And we know Draymond likes to hit the dagger shot. So having a Jimmy Butler, another dagger thrower in the fourth quarter, I think before this is all said and done, it's going to be, vitally important.
Yeah. What'd you see, Frank?
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Butler's awesome, man. I mean, watching him from afar throughout his career, you see him maybe once or twice a week. You say, yeah, he's a good player. But as a fan of the game myself, and as somebody who tries to look at the game on a really high intellectual level, I'm blown away. This is an A student. And some of the people in the chat have talked about a masterclass. This was a masterclass. But when you look at the Warriors, think about this. They have 6 or 7 what the league would consider high-level half-court defenders. Moody, Kuminga, Jimmy Butler, Draymond. I throw Pods in there. I throw Looney in there. You don't make mistakes. When you don't make mistakes, it's hard for the opposition to score.
Yes.
Anthony Edwards' coach, he's a good coach, but he doesn't really help his star. Anthony Edwards is a young player. When the Warriors blitz him and take him out of what he wants to do, he tries to force the issue, and that doesn't work to his advantage. They don't cut. They never bring the center to the high post for back cuts. There's a lot of things they don't do to make the game tough for them against good defensive teams like the Warriors. So, yeah, man, Jimmy Butler's awesome, but I was equally impressed with so many other guys. At the top, I want to give Steve Kerr credit.
Yeah.
He got out of his asylum and said, you know what? I need to listen to others. Because we talked about, yo, dude, you got to play your players. They're good players. You got to trust them.
And Frank, if you missed the cold open, that was the first thing I started with. I gave Kerr his credit. I will do that. I don't hate the man. It's just there are a lot of games where he does things that makes no damn sense. Tonight was not one of those nights. He dipped deep into the bench. He played the right guys. I thought the fact that he gave Pat Spencer faith, I thought the fact that he gave Kuminga those minutes. You're going to need him if Steph's not playing for offense, for defense, I think just as much. But, yeah, he did well tonight. I thought the minute distribution was fantastic. I thought GP2 played the exact right minutes, whether he was matched up with Anthony Edwards, whether he drained huge threes late in the game, especially when the defense was completely focused on Jimmy Butler and players attacking and collapsing the paint. There were players open in the perimeter for those kickouts. That's part of the reason why Jimmy Butler was 5 of 8 from deep. It's part of the reason why Draymond Green had 10 3-point attempts tonight. And we're going to talk about Draymond in just a second. And it's also GP2, those 8 points, 2 of 3 from deep. That was huge. I will give Steve Kerr credit when he earns it. And I thought tonight he absolutely earned it. You're not getting an iota of criticism from me. I thought it was fantastic. Do you want to hear from Dr. Narav Pandya regarding Stephen Curry's hamstring injury? And then we'll look up social media to see what they're saying about. And a side note, just because I want a head coach in professional sports fired does not mean I personally hate him. This is pro sports. If you're a head coach, you are susceptible to criticism. You're a public figure. And some people just don't get this, apparently, but whatever. I don't hate the man, but he is making $18 million a year, wielding incredible power. Little schlubs like me every once in a while criticizing him. That's part of this game in the media. I digress, though. Do you want to hear from Narav first, or do you want to dip into social media and see what folks are saying about Stephen Curry's injury? What do you guys think?
You're not alone, by the way. My man CK, the owner of All-Star Donuts in Walnut Creek, shout out, says every time I see him, CK's like, Kerr, man, Krug, they got to fire Kerr, man. I wish they would just fire Kerr. I'm like, man, I got to get my man Cy over here. The two of you guys could, eat some donuts.
Are they good donuts, by the way?
They're fire Kerr donuts. I mean, they're passionate. They're made with passion.
Well, Anthony Slater tweeted this out. I'll share the screen just for some added effect here regarding Stephen Curry's status. Here is Anthony Slater saying the Warriors are calling Stephen Curry day to day with the hamstring strain. Kerr said Steph was crushed about the injury. And let's hear from Dr. Narav Pandya, who gives a detailed prognosis on what to expect with the injury, whether it's serious or something, as Anthony Slater tweeted out, was day-to-day. Here is the good doctor.
On the court, and how they're feeling in the context of their findings. Thank you.
Sorry.
Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Narav Pandya. A lot of Golden State Warriors fans have questions about the left hamstring strain that Stephen Curry suffered that was just reported by the team in the game against the Timberwolves. Here's a quick breakdown of hamstring strains in general, what we in general look for in terms of grading injury severity, and what the general criteria is sometimes for return to play. Now, the first important thing to understand is that a strain is some degree of tearing of the muscle belly itself, or the muscle where it turns into a tendon, or the tendon itself. This is typically graded into 3 general grades. Grade 1 is a microscopic tear, Grade 2 is a partial tear, and grade 3 is a complete tear. In addition to grading, which is typically done based on an MRI, you can also look at other factors that help determine the severity of the injury, which is done by imaging. Number one is the number of hamstring muscles that may be involved. Number two, where in the hamstring the injury actually occurs. So in the muscle belly is a little bit less severe. If it's higher up where it inserts on the pelvis, it can be more severe. You look at the cross-sectional area or the amount of hamstring muscle that it actually is impacted.
I'm falling asleep there. I apologize for that. Point is, day to day. Anything you guys want to add to that? Sorry for boring the audience there. I thought that would be more riveting. No disrespect to the doctor, but
I mean that's good, Dr. Pandia. But that, if you do that again, I'm leaving. No, I'm just joking. I was just distracted because I saw that Donovan Mitchell one-hand throwdown in the Pacers game. Oh my God! You guys see that one-hand rip where he ripped it back?
I don't know. I was too busy focusing on the
Cavaliers. Oh my God. Dude, Donovan Mitchell had a one-hand jam where he just, reached back, freaking, ripped it right in the middle of the lane. It was savage. Wow. It was savage. I was going to ask you guys, which of the road teams do you think finished the deal? Because I'll tell you, I loved watching Knicks Celtics. And there's something about the Knicks are hard, man. The Knicks are, that's not the best team ever, but that's like, this is a bunch of tough guys. That's a bunch of tough guys. I love the way Anunoby and Brunson and Hart, and these guys are just tough. I would love to see them get by the Celtics. I mean, that would be amazing. To see the Knicks beat.
Do you think it happens though?
Well, that's what I'm asking you guys. I mean, I actually think, Pacers are up 2-0, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Pacers are up 2-0 on the road. Pacers are going to finish the Cavs. But I would not be surprised if the Knicks took down the Celtics. I mean, it would take another Herculean effort, but the Knicks are, as I said, they're gutsy. And Brunson is just awesome, man. He's really gotten so much better than the Jalen Brunson I remember at Nova. So I like the Knicks, and then I think OKC comes back. I definitely think Golden State's going to advance, but I don't know. I mean, it's to me that I'd love to see the Knicks take down the Celtics.
Frank, you're roots in that area. What are your?
I got a New York Knicks shirt on.
Yeah, what do you think?
You know what? I think it's going to be really, really close. I would say everything is predicated on Anthony Towns. The Knicks had a great defensive effort, but Boston didn't make any adjustments, and they shot the ball poorly. So if the Knicks are going to beat Boston, it's going to be because Anthony Towns plays good interior defense. Although Boston doesn't take a lot of inside shots, but they're going to try to drive to the basket, and the Knicks are going to have to do something about trying to stop them, because I can't imagine Boston hoisting up 63s the next game. That's just stupid. And Joe Mazzulla has a chip in his bag, but for him not to make an adjustment against the Knicks and allow them to do that was asinine. So I think the series is going to go 6 games. If it goes 6, then you got a chance. I would say Boston's still a slight favorite, but I love the Knicks, man. I love them, and if they believe and they commit themselves on defense, they can win. They can.
But what do you think is going to happen, though? I agree that they can, but do you think they will?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Where's the zinger? What happened to poor Zingas? He just had a terrible game.
Play?
No, he's playing, but
he played. He just missed every shot he took.
Just around it. Yeah, I don't know. Look, the Knicks winning that game, I thought, was unreal. I think it represents and symbolizes Jalen Brunson's greatness. What an incredible basketball player. The Knicks are lucky to have this guy. No surprise, he won the Clutch Award this year. But the Celtics, man, like I said, I don't think it's a coincidence every top seed lost their first game, and it follows every one of those teams having an easy time in the first round. Adjustments are hard sometimes. That's not to say that's what happened with the Warriors tonight. It might have played a part, but with that Knicks Celtics series, if I'm going to guarantee anything, it's the Celtics coming out in game 2 and beating the shit out of them, and then making it a very interesting series from there. But Frank, would you agree with that, or do you think the Knicks actually stand a chance in game 2? if they're, to me, I would bet the house on the Celtics. I don't even know what that line is. I'll look it up right now. But
I would bet the house on the Celtics as well, because I think that their effort, and again, Joe Mazzulla is going to watch the tape and they'll make some adjustments. If they just drove to the basket against the Knicks interior defense when Mitchell Robinson's not in the game, they're going to score. But if you just hoist threes, if the Warriors played Boston in the championship this year and Boston employed that same game plan, the Warriors would beat them because the Warriors guard perimeter shooters. So that was more of a coaching deal, I thought. But I give the Knicks all the credit in the world. Brunson, at the end of the game, you got to blitz him. How can you allow him to go one-on-one against anybody? It makes no sense. Because
he's a stone cold scorer right now.
Yeah.
And Anunoby, let's not forget about Anunoby. I mean, he is a big athletic wing who can eat up ground on the break. I mean, this guy will take like 2 dribbles from halftime or from half court, and all of a sudden it's like he's at the rim. I mean, it's the length and the explosiveness of Anunoby in the open floor is something else too.
Warriors tried to get him 2 years ago. Bob Myers was enamored, but the price tag was so damn high that the Warriors didn't give enough to the Raptors to get him back. And props to the Knicks for getting him. The series that I think is most riveting. And again, all 4 of these are fantastic, and we'll shift back to the Warriors in just a second here, just because there's a lot of sound to play as well. But last night was game 1 of the Nuggets and the Thunder, and Nikola Jokic is coaching this team by himself. People forget, and this is a huge reason why when people have this reverence for coaching in NBA basketball, I do kind of laugh a little bit, because it was not that long ago teams only had one coach. You weren't even allowed to have an assistant. Then teams started to have one assistant. And then little by little that grew and the rules changed. And now you see these massive bench, 2 rows of benches of assistants. But you look at the Nuggets. You look at tonight, even Draymond Green. There's a clip on social media. I retweeted it where Draymond was literally scripting an ATO in the huddle. What Nikola Jokic is doing is insane. If the Nuggets pull this off this year with him basically being a player coach, he's moving up on my rankings, man, a lot of slots, because that's basketball IQ if I've ever seen it. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Did you watch game 1? Because that's going to be a hell of a series, and the Thunder were exposed size-wise. Your thoughts?
I mean, I think Jokic is one of the greats of all time. I mean, it's just he's an amazing guy to watch. And it's interesting because it's I understand when I watch him, he's better at this time of the year than he is earlier in the year, because he plays the game and he gets better and better and better from playing. And he makes shots at the end of the year that early in the year he just doesn't typically make. His feel just gets better and better. I mean, he makes the right basketball decision. I'm amazed by the perfection of his perimeter passes. For a big man who's contorting his body, doubles coming at him at different rates, at different points, deciding sometimes as he's twisting and turning, where he's going to go with the ball, but he delivers just these perfect chest high passes, and these guys hit these shots. So, yeah, I mean, he's an absolutely amazing big man. I mean, his feel is really, really special. He kind of reminds you of the guy from the YMCA that just can't miss, it's he's got a headband and, he's got wristbands. He's way too sweaty, but he just can't miss. And, so yeah, he's really, really incredible. It's funny too, because I do remember when he came into the league, it was Jokic was the afterthought and Nurkic was Nurkic. Oh, Nurkic. Jokic, he's all right. And now look at it. I mean, Nurkic is pretty good. I mean, but Jokic is an all-timer.
But let's go to some paid chats here. And by the way, Dumpster Fire Dan, I appreciate you being that obsessed with me. Bravo. I didn't think I had that much of an impact on you folks, but Dumpster Fire, congrats on the obsession. HR $2 saying never underestimate the heart of a champion. Yeah, you're absolutely right. HR $2 more saying the road team has won every single game in round 2. Yeah, we've harped on that big time. Niners MMA 86, $1.99, saying much easier matchup for the Warriors compared to Houston. I agree. I said that. I actually hosted a show last night, just a quick one to give you a preview of the series. I predicted Warriors in 6, and I agree as well that the Timberwolves are a much better matchup for the Warriors than the Rockets were. And you look at the 4 matchups this season that a lot of people like to dismiss because it was months ago. The Warriors have a completely different roster. But what's lost on some folks is that Minnesota has the exact same team that they had in all 4 of those games. All the Warriors did was get better since the last meeting. What do you guys think? Is this going to be an easier matchup for the Warriors than the Timberwolves, or is Niners MMA 86 wrong? Larry, I'll start with you.
Well, I mean, we talked about this a little bit the other night. It's a different challenge. I mean, and tonight, I don't think the Warriors got Minnesota's A game, and you can expect that they will. And then the question is, without Steph Curry, is Golden State can have enough to withstand Minnesota's A game when it comes? But no, I don't. I definitely think that Minnesota can play better than they played tonight, and you're going to see them play a whole lot better. I just think Golden State is a basketball team that they didn't play the T-Wolves with Jimmy, right? All the games were pre-Jimmy, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, they're a totally different team, and I think that's probably advantage Golden State. So, but now I think that this series is suddenly riveting because you've got a very talented Minnesota team with a lot of size and a lot of skill, and Edwards frustrated. I'm sure he's going to try to put everything on his shoulders and carry them through. And, you've got a Warrior team that I believe every team or every game, Warriors Rockets, the team that had the fewer turnovers won. And yet tonight,
Correct.
The Warriors had more turnovers, and yet they still won by 11. So go figure. It's a different series. But we said it last time. The Rockets were better defensively, so they were a bigger challenge in that regard. But when Minnesota is going offensively, they put a lot of pressure on you to score because they can score. We didn't see that tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Frank, you agree? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, but I think the Warriors I think the Dubs had 12 turnovers and the Wolves had 16. I think maybe I'm looking at this wrong.
I'm seeing 18,
including the team ones. Yeah, it's weird how they're
18-16. That's what I see.
Okay,
18-16 Warriors.
Like the Warriors had 12 individual turnovers, and then there were 6 additional, and shot clock violations count for that.
All right.
There's a few weird ones that add on to that. So it was 18 total.
All right. I think Houston was a tougher matchup for the Warriors because fundamentally, take out Game 7, Houston is damn near as good defensively as the Warriors, and they're bigger. Minnesota has an innate problem that the coach has to try to unlearn. They are innately selfish, where the Warriors are aligned. When Stephen Curry's on the court, the number one option is. With Minnesota, Anthony Edwards is the best player, but Julius Randle still kind of thinks that he can kind of take over the game. And that's a problem because what happens is the ball sticks. And if the ball sticks against a really good defensive team, you're going to turn the ball over.
Yes, sir.
Secondly, they have not used – they haven't found a way to use Gobert. You can't have a guy that tall being that useless on the court. Something. Bring him out to the free throw line so they can cut back door. So I think that they'll have some good shooting nights and they'll win some games. But if I'm the Warriors, I would be extremely disappointed if I didn't win this series. I think the Warriors are going to win because they're smarter, they're better, and they have a better system. And now that Kerr wants to play all of his guys, they're going to be fresher.
Yep.
So they're better.
Also, Minnesota, outside of Randall and Edwards, they don't really draw fouls.
No.
Think about the Gobert, McDaniels, Conley, Naz Reid. These guys don't draw a lot of fouls. They really don't.
And Gobert, you want him to shoot those free throws.
Right.
Go on. Go ahead. Take as many as you want, sir. No, I'm totally – yeah, that's a great point there. Other paid chats, Ryan 23,000, $1.99, saying he didn't like the team's facial expressions after the win. I did not notice that at all. Maybe it was because of Steph. Maybe it's because these gentlemen are professionals and they're treating this like a business trip, and this is just game one. I don't know. Any reaction from you guys on that comment?
I don't read facial expressions, so I'll leave that to somebody else. But but as far as how Golden State's feeling, they should be feeling amazing. You got a win without Steph Curry on the road, against a young team that had the advantage coming in. If you had said on paper, how do you think this series is going to go? You'd say, well, advantage early in the series to Minnesota. They're at home. They're rested. They should have way too much energy, and they'll come out and just blitz Golden State and probably win decisively. Instead, it's the other way around, and the Warriors get the win, an 11-point win, despite not having Steph Curry. So, this was I thought the thing that made the most sense was that Minnesota would jump out with a convincing win, and the Warriors would have to chase this thing from behind. And instead, Golden State's out 1-0. So, and Minnesota also looks. Frank, it's funny you called them kind of a selfish team. I don't know. I haven't watched tons of Minnesota play this year, but just individually, right? Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, Mr. I'm going to touch all the microphones during the pandemic. Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid, Bones Highland. I mean, these guys are, 15 guys and 15 cabs. You know what I mean? These are, you know what I mean? It's like they're, 15 Ubers. They seem like, if you told me that everybody's best friend on this team was their agent, I'd believe you.
No, it's a great point. I mean, you look at Julius. Here's the thing. Julius Randle's a free agent. So he's not only auditioning for Minnesota, he's playing like, I need to show everybody what I can do to get my bag. That's the most important thing to him. And again, Chris Finch is a good coach. He's done wonderful things there. He has years on his contract. But if you're evaluating him, you're saying, what can I do to get better? Because Anthony Edwards played 1 year of college. He's still learning how to play. Yep. I mean, the Warriors gave him some runs to the basket at the end, but they turned his water off. You shouldn't be able to turn the water off the best two guard in the NBA. But the Warriors have a scheme. They know how to do it. I mean, listen, Jonathan Kuminga and GP2 together, they can guard him. They can guard him and then blitz him and take the tempo and the floor of the game away from him. That's coaching. Flinch has to do a better job if Minnesota's going to challenge the Warriors.
A couple points in the notes, and then I'll get back to the paid chats here in just a second, because I wrote a few things down here I want to get to real fast. I thought, first things first, GP2 was fantastic tonight. We talked about him a little bit, but I want to highlight a specific moment in this game. Late first quarter, he stole the ball from Rudy Gobert and then made an easy bucket. And that was a huge momentum shift in this game. And maybe more importantly than that, though, and I saw this time and time and again early before Stephen Curry got injured, he was setting some beautiful screens. If you're watching the off-ball plays and movement and the screens that he sets up, I think that's a huge reason, and I've said this before, but that's a huge reason why he gets the minutes he does. He is perfect at setting Steph up so that he can get some space to put up threes, and he was excellent there, in addition to those clutch late threes that he made, which quelled the momentum that Minnesota had for a few runs late in the game. Minnesota came into this game fourth in the NBA in three-point percentage. Yet they started the game, I believe, 0 of 15 from three. Finished the first half without making a single three. And I think they finished the game on the night 5 of 29. And those 5 threes all came in the second half. The Warriors, meanwhile, were 18 of 42 from deep, 42.9% of their threes made. Another thing in my notes, and I'd love to get you guys' reaction to this. The Warriors this season, spanning the 82 or 83, whatever the total number of regular season games there were this year, they did not implement a zone defense often. They sure as shit implemented that tonight. And I don't know if that was designed to surprise Minnesota. I don't know if they just saw something, but they ran it and it worked. Larry, I don't know if you saw the same thing
Yeah.
I did. D caused issues for Minnesota tonight.
Well, there's no question. And they went to it as soon as they got like little spurts. When Golden State would get a spurt and they felt like they put pressure on Minnesota, then they would go to a zone. And it seemed like it made Minnesota slower in the half court. It did seem like it bothered the T-Wolves. I thought the other huge factor in this game, and it's this Minnesota team is a better team than I thought. But one thing I thought was a huge factor is this Minnesota team is in the first round was one of the best offensive rebounding. They had the best offensive rebounding numbers of any team in the first round, and the Warriors beat them on the offensive glass tonight pretty decisively. 18-12 Golden State on the offensive glass against the team that had the best offensive glass numbers in that first round. So I thought that was key.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this though. I kind of feel like I wouldn't go evaluating this series off of tonight because I just feel like the Warriors are going to be way less without Steph. And Minnesota's going to be way more than they looked like tonight. And the combination could make the rest of the games in this series a whole lot different looking.
Wholeheartedly agree with you there. Anything you want to add, Frank, or you good?
I mean, it's basically, I've never heard someone say Steve Kerr is not smart. He is brilliant. He is a brilliant basketball mind. He spent a lot of time around Eric Spoelstra as his assistant during the Olympics. So he understands the complexities and the value of zone. He also just maxed wits against the top 10 coach in Ime Udoka, who also played zone and gave the Warriors a shitload of trouble playing Şengün and Steven Adams. So strategically, when you put Looney in the middle and you got Draymond and you got Butler, all of a sudden you're not that small anymore because pound for pound, those are some of the best rebounders pound for pound in the league. So, I mean, it's a weapon. And also when you consider the lack of basketball IQ, when I say they don't have a backup point guard, Kerr knows they don't have a backup point guard. He knows they can't run offense. So it's a weapon. You don't want to show your hand, but there will be specific points within the season and within the game that they go to that zone and they choke the opposition off and stop them, man. So just smart basketball. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think it also kind of leans into, I think he knows what Minnesota likes to do from the standpoint of, if you play a zone, teams are going to try to shoot over the zone usually. And I think this Minnesota team is much better if Edwards is attacking the hole, not, having Naz Reid and these guys shooting, deep threes. But that's what they kind of lend themselves to. And I kind of wonder if Kerr is trying to lure them into playing a little bit more like that and a little bit less off of Edwards, drives to the front of the rim.
Larry, you mentioned earlier in the show that the Warriors lost the points in the paint battle tonight, 52-28. But what they didn't lose was the rebounding battle.
Right.
The Warriors out-rebounded Minnesota 51-41. And maybe the stat that's more impressive than that, offensive rebounds. Jimmy Butler, had 7 offensive rebounds. Buddy Hield had 4 offensive rebounds. GP2, Kevon Looney, each had 2 offensive rebounds. Kuminga with 1. Pat Spencer with 2. The Warriors had 18 offensive rebounds tonight. People were making news headlines out of the Rockets grabbing 22 of them on the Warriors in one of those games last series. The Warriors just grabbed 18 on Minnesota, a team with Rudy Gobert, with Randall, a team that has size. Does that impress you, gentlemen?
It really impresses me because it's game 1 after a short rest. And Minnesota should be the quicker, faster team to the balls, on the glass and in the open floor. But Golden State looked, it's weird. It's like, I expected in football and basketball, I expect the team with the rest to come out and look more explosive and sharper.
Yeah.
In baseball, of course, you're always thinking the team that has the least rest will come out. Like teams often that play, into a wild card round in baseball, come out in the first game of the division series and look great because they've played at a high level and they're playing on that edge. And I think it's an advantage. But in football and basketball, you would expect that the more rested team is going to come out and really take it to the other team. That wasn't the case tonight. That was another reason to feel good about Golden State. Is that they got it done when they have to be somewhat fatigued.
I would agree. I would agree with you if Steve Kerr was coaching 2 weeks ago and he didn't play his bench. His team would have been gassed. If you go back to Game 6 against Houston, Draymond looked old. He looked awful. And then in Game 7, he looked great because he got those 7 minutes of rest when Kuminga got into the game. So they're hyped up now. They have a lot of confidence. But if you manage your veterans' minutes, then you can play every couple of days because they don't make a lot of mistakes. If they were playing 40-plus minutes, they would get tired and they would look a lot different on the court. But Kerr has found players now. So I think the Warriors have an advantage. It's a D advantage for Minnesota because they don't even play their bench. So a lot of good things to look forward to if you're a Warrior fan, but they can't get complacent. Because like you guys have said, you would expect Minnesota's going to come out with guns blazing in Game 2 and maybe shoot lights out and still lose, but they're going to put forth a better effort than they did tonight.
Let's listen to Steve Kerr. This is courtesy of Anthony Slater, so the audio might not be great. Turn the volume up on your devices, please, to hear this properly. Here is Steve Kerr talking about Stephen Curry and whether or not we can expect to see him play in Game 2.
Particularly tricky to play through. Are you kind of operating under the assumption, game planning under the assumption over the next 24 hours that he probably won't be out there Game 2?
Yeah. We're definitely game planning for him to not be available on Thursday, but we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Like with a hamstring, it's hard to imagine that he would play Thursday.
What's kind of I know it's early and you'll have a day to really think about it, but as you reset the series without him, how do you find enough scoring?
We have to talk about that. We're going to give the players the day off tomorrow. Nothing, no film. They need a day. These games have been every other day. We're flying all the way across the country. Our guys are tired and they need a rest. They need the day. So coaches will meet tomorrow and we'll figure out our plan for Thursday.
Particularly.
And I want to share this graphic real fast. This graphic courtesy of Sportsnet Central, whoever they are. This is a graph that shows the Warriors this season, 70 games played with Steph, 12 without. And again, shocking that they actually have a winning record without him this season, averaging 106.9 points per game. With him, 105.8 points. They give up defensively. They shoot 43.3% without him from the field, a slight dip, 35.9% from deep, also a slight dip without him. So Steph likely will not play in Game 2. Larry, what are your thoughts on that? I don't think it's the depressing news that I would think that would be the case of, if I'm making sense here. What are your thoughts?
Well, it just reconfirms what I've been saying for a lot of these playoffs, which is you got to get Moody and Kuminga going if you're going to have a real shot. And now with Curry out, where can you get points naturally? It's not just where can you get points. It's where can you get points in the flow? Where can you get points in your natural offense? I mean, it's easy to say, well, put Pat Spencer out there. It's like, okay, but where can you get points? I think you can get them from Kuminga and Moody.
Mm-hmm. Moody had a bad game tonight, by the way. Just side note. I mean, I'm not trying to pick on him, but he had 0 points, 0 of 1 from deep, only 1 3-point attempt. He just didn't look. Something was off tonight about him. He played 8 minutes, 30 seconds. Chances are, you move on, you forget, but bad night for Moody. Good night for Kuminga, I thought. What did you guys think?
Well, I don't know. Didn't Kerr call a timeout when he kind of blew that one assignment and he gave up the bucket and all of a sudden they called timeout? He didn't get a very long leash, that's for sure. I'd like to see Kuminga. Well, they're going to need Kuminga. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Kuminga is going to be needed. It would be nice if, I like some of the when they can get the action going where they can just give Kuminga the ball almost like a handoff going to the bucket. I mean, he's so athletic and long. He can finish at the rim with such ease. It's like, why? That's like an easy 15 points that's just hanging out there.
Yeah.
If you just will coordinate it and get this guy the ball moving to the rim. How many 6'8", 6'9", 38-inch vertical athletes are there like this guy? And he's as fresh as can be at this point. It's like that little scissor thing they had going where Green handed it to him, and he basically he could have dunked it, but he kind of just laid it in. They could do that 10 times a game.
Yeah.
So
I hope Steve Kerr starts taking more advantage of Kuminga's size, athleticism, skill set. I thought he had great, and the fact that he made his 1 3-point attempt, it was huge. That was a big moment as well. That was a high pressure 3. Kuminga on the night played 13 minutes, 10 seconds, 2 of 5 shooting from the field, including that 1 3-pointer, 1 trip to the free throw line, made them both 7 points. An assist and a rebound. Frank, what'd you see in his 13 minutes? I liked it.
I mean, I'm gonna start with Kerr because I think Kerr is coaching him the way they should have been coaching him a couple of years ago. He's gonna make mistakes. In the first half, he got beat. He called timeout and he kind of readdressed what his responsibilities are.
Mm-hmm.
Put him back in the game. Yeah, he had another chance.
Mm-hmm.
Kuminga is a flow player. His confidence builds off of success. He's not a made man yet, but it's hard not to have that guy on the floor because he does things that you can't defend. Minnesota was like, oh, shit, he's making a 3-pointer. He's darting to the basket. He's getting a dunk. And after 4 years, I give the Warriors credit, he's become an above-average perimeter defender. So I look at him from a broad perspective. Okay, how is he playing offensively? Good, not so good. But his defense, generally speaking, is pretty darn good when he comes into the game. So
yes, sir.
He's a weapon. I thought he played above average tonight, and I look forward to seeing him on Thursday because I think he can play even better.
And again, this is where I will credit Steve Kerr. Clearly he thinks with Steph and Curry that Kuminga doesn't have a role. Without Steph, he immediately realized we need points. We got to switch things up here. And he brought him right in. And again, one of many reasons why I thought Kerr did a great job tonight. And it leads to our pay chats. Amar Singh, clearly from the Krueger show side of things, although I've been noticing him more and more in Golden Days under another pseudonym, writing, let me on the stream so I can own Cy about Kerr. I'll leave that up to you, gentlemen, if you want to post the link. We're already almost an hour in, so I'm thinking maybe another night for that. I'll leave it up to you. I always welcome audience members in a healthy distance.
I would really love to see Amar Singh own you.
I'd love to see that too.
But at the same time, I'm a little afraid. I'm a little afraid of what Amar Singh may bring. So.
Yeah, let's hold that. Look, Golden Days. I host a lot.
I need to think it over. I need to weigh the pros and the cons. Maybe we can have a conference call later on and discuss it.
And then HR drops $2 and says Amar is a dipshit. The Dylan Brooks of the chat. So it's getting spicy in there. It's getting a little spicy. Julian Bashir dropping $2 saying Buddy Hield said, "Look at me, I'm the captain now." Speaking to Tom Hanks, great line. That Buddy Hield has just been fantastic. Yeah. And what's not been fantastic is Dan Coccimiglio, who now joins the show a good hour late.
Speaking of a shameless gunner. No. What's going on, Danny? How are you?
Doing well.
Where have you been, man?
Who won the Giants game, Danny? I know they were winning, then they were losing, and then they were tied.
Yeah, well, I was just working. I had to tend to. I got a phone call from Rick Celebrini. They wanted to know what I think they should be doing with Steph, and I gave him my advice. So I told him send him home right now. And let him get therapy, get in the ice machine, the ice chamber he likes to go in, get some PRP, get some stem cells, and see if he can come back for game 3 or 4.
There you go.
Anyway, Giants did win. They scored 9 runs in the top of the 11th, set a Wrigley Field record for most runs scored in extra innings.
Are the Giants winning the whole thing? Are they a World Series contender?
What?
No.
I don't know. I don't follow this shit at all. So you have to tell me.
The Giants are not winning the whole thing, most likely.
No,
playoffs?
most likely not. Possibly.
Well, no, they might go to the playoffs. And I don't want to say for sure no, but I mean it's kind of like saying I'm not. What will be the NBA equivalent of the Giants It's like saying the Knicks are going to win the whole thing.
So what you guys? I know you probably heard the Steve Kerr talk afterwards. I think probably right. Did you
About Steph?
Talking about Steph? Yeah, I was.
Yeah. We played that about 10 minutes ago. Okay. Dan, if you don't mind, like we're going through these paid chats. Do you want to just kind of roll with us and
sure, absolutely,
and roll along with the paid chats, and then we can talk about the Warriors as we roll through that. So MSQ drops $1.99 saying that MJ's two sons are going at it. I have no clue what this is about. Anyone have some context? Anyone have some additional information? I did not know Michael Jordan's two sons are beefing. Apparently, this is news to me. Anyone else?
I know nothing.
No, me neither.
I don't know what that's about, but we'll look into it, and and someone I'm sure will Google it and follow up soon. But that is newsworthy if that's true. Amar Singh dropping more money, asking me to apologize to Steve Kerr, who, according to Amar Singh, is a top 5 all-time coach. He owns me. I mean, look, if he owned me, I'd at least want $1 million for a reach around. All right, at least. I'm not doing that.
I think there's a right way to respond to that. Thanks, Amar.
Yeah, for $2, and thank you for the $2. Although I think it's going to you, Larry. But yeah, so the thanks comes.
That's why I'm thanking him. Thank you.
Real quick on that note, and I'm going to ask each of these this question. Larry, I'll start with you. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of NBA coaches?
Ooh, Mount Rushmore of NBA coaches.
Yeah, 4 names.
I understand what Mount Rushmore is.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Dick Motta.
Dick Motta, the great Dick.
Brian Winters. No. Let me think. I would have to go. I mean, how do you not go with Red, right? Because Red, Red's Red.
Red? Agreed.
Red Auerbach when he won all those titles with about 10 teams.
I can't go. I can't go there. I'm gonna go.
Red Auerbach's not on your Mount Rushmore?
No, because I didn't see it. I'm kind of good. I got to go with I got to go with
modern coaches.
And also it's when you're getting Bill Russell because you're trading the freaking ice follies, you know what I mean? It's a different era. I don't know if I can say he's the greatest GM of all time when he's trading the ice follies and some guy named Macaulay for, Bill Russell. So there was, in the early days, there was things that were worked out. I would say Pat Riley.
Yes.
Phil Jackson. I just can't stand Popovich. So I'll throw Nelly in there.
Okay,
yeah, I agree with you. I can't stand him.
Popovich can, as far as I can. That guy became mute tomorrow. That'd be too soon. I just can't stand listening to him. That ridiculous blowhard. He took the mic at the arena. Hey, for those of you here booing, stop booing. It's like, go sit down and make $1 million coaching basketball, and don't worry about who's booing and not booing. I thought that was really pathetic. So I'll go Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, Don Nelson. God, do I go Lenny Wilkins? Lenny Wilkins, a great coach.
Won one ring. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's a great coach, great player and great coach.
Yeah, I think one ring as a coach, right? And
yeah, I think I got to go Chuck Daly. I'm going with Chuck Daly. I'm a big believer in Daddy Rich, as they called him.
Frank, who's on your Mount Rushmore?
Definitely Phil Jackson. Definitely Pat Riley. I would put Red Auerbach, but I'm gonna agree with Larry. I mean, I didn't see the Celtics
too long ago. Time.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it. He's great, but I didn't see him. Number 3 would be Larry Brown.
Ooh, good call.
That's a good call.
And number 4, just for sentimental reasons and because of how historic it is, I would put Al Attles Sr. up there.
Oh, nice. Nice.
It's a good call too.
Universally beloved. Like I've never heard a single bad thing about Al Attles. Like it's rest in peace. Great call.
I mean,
the destroyer.
I mean, 1975 or 3.
You got muted. How did that happen? I didn't do that.
Frank, you muted yourself by
I
accident.
mean, your computer can do that too sometimes. It's happened to me.
I just hit it by mistake.
Okay.
But just the societal context. He's a black man in a powerful position, having guys believe in his philosophy, winning a championship. I've never seen a coach threaten to beat up a player too. I'm a little kid on Long Island. Mike Reardon, of the Washington Bullets at the time. That's one of the most historic events ever by a coach. So, I miss Mr. Adams.
Bravo.
Good friends with his son, and
Bravo.
Historic, man. So I put Al Adams there as well.
Dan, who's on your list?
All right. My list is going to be a little different. It's going to be
here we go.
Yeah. Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra. I had my third. I just forgot it. But I'm going to go with somebody.
Mike Sosha.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Dr. Jack Ramsey. The guy was
Okay.
Look at that.
Great.
Dr. Jack Ramsey from the Blazers.
Yeah, and the Buffalo Braves before that. And I think he coached in college at St. Joe, didn't he?
Surprised you didn't go with Doug Moe.
Yeah, so those three. And my fourth one.
Jim Molay said, did Danny just Google his list?
No, I just Googled his record. I wanted to see because I really liked Jack Ramsey.
So you have been Googling, but you just didn't
No,
Google
I just
in the
Googled
direction.
his record. That's all I did.
All right,
I knew
all
who Jack Ramsey was. I thought that was one of the best teams I ever watched play basketball, that Portland Trail Blazers championship team. It was just like a clinic they put on. So I said Riley and Ramsey and Spoelstra. I had a fourth one and slipped my mind.
Ooh, I'm hoping Phil Jackson.
Oh yeah,
Eric-
Phil Jackson. Thank you.
Eric
Phil Jackson.
Musselman. Eric Musselman.
Phil Jackson.
Mike Montgomery as a Warriors head coach.
Mike
Phil
Montgomery. Mike Montgomery could absolutely design an inbounds play though that would get a layup. I mean, seriously, I watched the Warriors with Mike Montgomery. They'd be looking horrible. Timeout. All of a sudden, he designed an inbounds play that would always result in a layup. And I mean, it was pretty freaking amazing. Even some of the NBA players were like, "Wow, this guy is pretty good."
I'm gonna go just real fast. I will insert Red Auerbach.
Steve Kerr first.
If he's on your list, it's your.
No, I thought your list. I was just jumping.
Oh no, my list will be.
I was assuming you had Kerr on there.
I'm gonna put Red Auerbach on there just because I've heard too many old timers praise him and acknowledge that he actually was a gifted coach. So I'm gonna put Red on there. 9 rings. It's just too much to ignore. Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, and Greg Popovich. And the Greg Popovich part of it. What impresses me most about Pop, because I know I've criticized him for a few in-game decisions and things he's done that
is that the Spurs won the lottery and got Tim Duncan instead of Keith.
Well, there's that. I mean, that goes without saying. But losing Kawhi Leonard,
that definitely helped.
It does. Yeah, getting the best player in the game on your team certainly does help. You're absolutely right. And then my fourth player is going to be Popovich because of the coaching tree. You look at who has learned from him and moved on from Popovich. Like almost half the NBA has head coaches that at one time served under Greg Popovich. It's impressive. So Pop is on my list as the fourth guy. Going back to the chat here, because we got a lot of people donating some money to get opinions in here. The MJ's 2 sons thing, still no update on that? No one looked it up? I'll look it up myself in a second. Just see what's going on there. MSQ dropping 199, saying the Giants scored 9 runs in the 11th inning. Thoughts on a 14-5 win?
Well,
I have no thoughts, obviously.
I watched it. It was impressive. I thought, unfortunately, Justin Verlander got snake bitten again. Ryan Walker blew the lead for him in the 9th inning for the second time.
How about that? That was the takeaway, is that Melvin pulled his closer in the 9th for like the first time ever.
And he walks off and he's pissed off that he got pulled. And I'm saying, dude, you just blew the whole game. What are you pissed at him for? You should be pissed at yourself. So I think the Giants have a closer mini controversy going. I think it gets nipped quickly. I think Camilo Doval takes over the closer's job going forward until he messes up. I think Walker was
How about this? How about promote Harrison and Birdsong and put Hicks as the closer?
Hicks would be a possible good closer. Yeah. By the way, Kyle Harrison pitched the bottom of the 11th tonight.
Yeah, they called him up.
Last two pitches, 97. He was throwing about 89 last year at the end when he was
throwing 91 in March when I saw him in Salt River.
Yeah,
how do you build that strength? Is it just working out? Is it reps?
How do you do that? It's steroids.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. Okay. Going back to the chat here, I want to. Robert Murray did not donate any money, but he said that he's accusing me of jamming up Kerr tonight after a big win. Do me a favor, Robert Murray. Actually, watch the show. Listen to the show. I've done nothing but credit Kerr tonight. So pay attention, please. Going back to the chat, NBA Elias.
Don't be jamming people up either.
Saying the loss wakes up Minnesota. No Curry, no series win. I don't think you're going to get many disagreements on that take. If Curry's out for the entire series, that's sketchy. If he misses the first two games, especially when he won game one, I think the Warriors have an excellent shot. I do think this, though. I mean, I'm glad NBA wrote this because it brings up a point that I'd like to bring up to you, gentlemen. The Warriors having to play 7 games to beat Houston clearly sapped energy and took away some days off, because you look at this Minnesota Timberwolves series, and with the exception of a weird-ass gap between games 5 and 6, where they're going to have, I think, 3 full days between games 5 and 6, every other game, it's just 1 day separating them. So you're not going to get a lot of days off. You're not going to get a chance to rest after each of these games. And this is why you have to why Kerr has to dig into that bench. The strength in numbers adage will have to be applicable here for the Warriors to take care of the Minnesota Timberwolves. But bigger picture, because at least I'm thinking championship, right? Bigger picture, the Warriors can seize a phenomenal opportunity here. If you can dispatch Minnesota fast, if you decide to not take games off like the Warriors did in game 5 against Houston, and if you can take care of business here and dispatch Minnesota in 5 games, let's say hypothetically, you can get some rest and be ready for whoever you play next, because it's either going to be OKC or Denver. I'm going to feel confident that either of those opponents are going to be a pain in the ass for the Warriors, but you also want them to go to 7, so you can kind of take a little spell there. Does it matter, Larry? I'll start with you in terms of how long this series goes.
Yes.
Is it important?
Yes. I really think that the trip matters, especially for an older team like the Warriors. I think the Warriors' chances of winning this whole thing go up dramatically if they can win game 2 without Steph of this series. Why? Because you could put the stranglehold. I think I would totally, the one thing, like Kerr said, hey, the coaches, the players are off. They're going to catch their legs, catch their wind, and the coaches are going to meet. We're going to come up with a plan. The question is, and I think something I'd love for us to discuss here, what is that plan going to be? And I would say that plan should be come out with everything you got, an entire roster of options, and you just have a meeting with your team and you just do the psych job of psych jobs. We are not going to play the typical, well, we're just happy to get one and get out of here. We are going for the jugular.
Yes.
We are going to win this game as a team. Because think about it. If the Warriors lose the game and get drubbed, the series goes long, they could potentially lose it. And I don't think they can win the whole thing if they don't get one kind of easy series. And I don't think any of the other ones are going to be easy. So this is that series. They got to get an easy series. That's 1. 2, I think you got to make sure that if you're Golden State, if you get this win, now you've got a total team great vibe, because it's like the entire team contributed, and then you're giving Steph the proper amount of time, and you can flush this team early. I think you got to play game 2 differently because of the Curry injury. I think you can give no ground. I think you have to battle it out like it's a game 7, got to have it. The nice thing, guys, is that the Warriors, off of game 7 and then this incredible performance, are in the perfect place to have that mindset of we're not giving game 2 away. We're going to go and we're going to steal game 2. We're going to throttle them and take this thing over so that when we do get Steph back, and maybe it won't even be this round, he'll be rested and ready. So I think you gotta come out hyper aggressive in game 1, first quarter. You got to remember this: Minnesota's got some doubt. You've got all the rings. You've got all the guys with all the rings, including the coaches and the players. So come out, dominate that first quarter, make them question themselves, steal game 2, and I think the series is yours.
Game 2 is going to be a big one, and I'd love to get your thoughts, Frank and Dan, as well. The only thing I will add to what you said, Larry, will not be words. It's going to be a picture. It's a picture of this beautiful, handsome son of a bitch right here. Look at that mustache. Look at that. Look at that haircut. Look at everything going on there,
It's
man.
like a young Dan Coccimiglio right there from high school.
Yeah, he's got my number. Born in 61.
That son of a bitch right there is going to get a roll because Stephen Curry's down. I love his tenacity. Look, he's sometimes a little reckless, but you need that. You need that wild card, like someone who just doesn't give an F. And
well, dude, how about his runner? How about his one-handed runner off the glass? That was the shot of the game.
It was beautiful.
Skyhook.
No, he had a run. He had a runner.
It was
off
kind of
the lane.
hookish. Yeah.
Was it a hook?
Yeah.
Well, it was like hook. I wouldn't call it a hook, but he definitely like kind of rainbowed it over whoever was guarding him. It kind of looked like a hook.
It was actually Gobert.
It was
on Gobert, correct. I mean, look at
it
this
was a
guy,
freaking
man.
awesome shot, man. That was
guy.
an amazing shot.
Look at this guy. He was a two-way player at the start of the year. He gets a guaranteed role. He's got the porn stash. Dude, sign me up. I'm all in for Pat Spencer having a game in game 2. Dan, what are your thoughts on game 2, man?
Yeah, it's funny because the reason I was late is I was doing a quick Giants and Warriors wrap-up show on my
Nobody
channel.
cares, but go ahead.
And I said that same thing. I said the fact that the Warriors lost Curry, you can't go into game 2 and say, oh, we got game 1. You may not get Curry back for the entire series. You have to take every game that you're playing as a game 7. You got to go out and take game 2. And my thought was, the Warriors, I thought Kerr did a masterful job tonight substituting guys and at the right time.
Yes.
And I would do it even more so in game 2. I would hit them with 4 to 5 minute spurts of, Pat Spencer, Guy Santos, guys like that are not nearly as talented as what Minnesota has. They can make up for it by playing at 120, 125%. Minnesota can't do that because they only play 8 guys. So they have to they can't go balls out or as Nolan Richardson's 40 minutes of hell's bells, playing. That's what the Warriors need to do. They need to play and just bring in a wave of guys, just 4 minutes. Hey, I need you guys to go out there and give it everything you got for 4 or 5 minutes. Don't, if I see you slacking on defensive possession, you're out. I'm going to put someone else in because that's how the Warriors can actually mess up Minnesota. Minnesota played the Lakers, and the Lakers were a perfect setup for the Warriors because the Lakers play no defense, and they made Minnesota look good. Tonight, with the defense that the Warriors put on them and the pressure, Minnesota turned the ball over 16 times. They turned the ball over a lot against the Lakers, who are just freaking cones out there. Luka and LeBron don't play any defense. And so if you put that pressure on them the whole game, you could force these guys into turnovers. And Finch only plays 8 guys. Warriors could play 11 to 12 and put the pressure on him. That's what I would do.
He briefly brought Terrence Shannon Jr. in there for a brief moment,
and
he actually
for
made
a jump ball for that jump ball with Kuminga.
Yeah, and then exactly. Yes. He played 1 minute, 46 seconds. By the way, someone in the chat asked, did you guys even read the final score once of this game? And I don't think we did. The final score was 99-88. The Warriors taking game 1. Frank, I'd love to get your game 2 thoughts, but it just occurred to me we're an hour 20 minutes in, and we haven't given love to our sponsors once. please forgive me for this on the Golden Day side of things. Visit Humboldt and Decades. I'm going to give you love in just a second, but Larry, let's start with you, sir. Who is paying the bills for the Krug Show?
Well, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. Great barbecue. If you guys love great barbecue, Pig and a Pickle is for you. Go in there. Tell them you know me. They'll take care of you. It's a great spot. Pig and a Pickle. The brisket is amazing. The brisket chili is unbelievable. They only do the house-made potato chips in Corte Madera. So go out to Corte Madera and sit there at the bar and have some of the house-made potato chips, and everything Damon makes is amazing. He did homemade chicken pot pies one day, and they were just freaking unbelievable. So great guy, great restaurant, Pig and a Pickle, 2 locations, open 7 days a week. We're also brought to you by Mancini's Sleep World. Thanks to Mancini's for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show, and make sure you use the code KRUG10, KRUG10, and you'll save 10% on your mattress at, there you go, Krug 10 at any Mancini's
Krug
location.
12, do you get 12% off?
No, unfortunately, you got to stay with Krug 10. But thanks for confusing the audience.
30, like a Stephen Curry promo.
There you
I
go.
like that.
We're also brought to you by Claw Daddy Arcades. Claw Daddy's a great follow on Instagram at claw_daddy_arcades. He's got a brand new arcade opening in Northern
You're
California.
going to see me in 20 years. I'm going to be hanging out there every day, just playing video games and getting high. That's my retirement plan.
Yeah,
see you soon, Claw Daddy.
Don't scare the kids, and try to keep that, if you could smoke that in your car, maybe that'd be great. Also,
don't hand out edibles, Larry.
Don't hand out
chocolate.
edibles, and it's family fun entertainment. I don't even like the fact that you're talking about edibles around Claw Daddy.
I'm sorry, you're right. You're right.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Good point.
And then also thanks to LearnKey Upskill Academy, because after you've burned all those brain cells, you may need some upskill academy know-how. Let's just say they've got an online learning platform, and it's designed to get you job ready in 6 months or less. So a lot of people, hey, you know what? A lot of people, you start doing a job, all of a sudden your field just totally evaporates on you, and it happens. People need to transition to new jobs in the middle of their career, sometimes when they've got kids and mortgages and all kinds of things weighing on them. So we understand that. So whether you're interested in IT, cybersecurity, marketing, could be another high demand field. Maybe you just need a little extra certification to help you make a few more bucks at your job. We're here for you. So the links are in the description below. Thanks to all of our sponsors for being proud sponsors of the Krug Show. And once again, thanks to all of you guys. If you want to help out the show, the best way to do it is to help out our sponsors. So thanks to all of our sponsors.
Good call on that. Absolutely. And the sponsors of Golden Days, first up is Decades. They're a band. They play music, which again, I've said this before, the most popular medium by a long shot is music. Frank Red, you play tunes. You were a former FM DJ playing music, right? Am I mistaken on that?
No, pretty much AM radio, talk radio.
Oh, I apologize. I don't know why I was in the impression you did some FM stuff. Well, anyway, music is awesome. And if you want some live music at your event, and if we're talking about whether it's like a birthday party, whether it's an anniversary, maybe you want a corporate fundraiser and you need some live music like the Catalina wine mixer, and you need to bring some prestige worldwide to your event, go to decadesofficial.com and book an awesome band called Decades that plays music from the 50s to today. Chuck Berry to Katy Perry. They're Niners fans. They play every red zone rally for the home games before it starts next door at Great America. They're Golden Dazers. They're from Chico. They played Eddie D's private event in Montana one time. The same Eddie D that won 5 Super Bowls for the 49ers. I want that 5 to be applied to the Golden State Warriors. And Decades will be the band for you when you throw that party for that 5th World Championship for the 49ers. Email Kyle at atomicmusicgroup.com. I meant the Warriors, sorry. Again, Kyle at atomicmusicgroup.com. Tell him we sent you for a discount, or go to decadesofficial.com. Today's episode also brought to you by Visit Humboldt, a beautiful place. If you need a getaway to lower stress, to enjoy the outdoors, to check out incredible breweries like Steelhead. Thank me later if you try that beer out. Incredible wineries, hiking trails, the outdoors, you name it, they've got it. Check out visithumboldt.com or DM me. I'm a former student of what they now call Cal Poly Humboldt. It was Humboldt State University when I was a student there many, many years ago. It's a beautiful place. I can be your guide, or go to visithumboldt.com to get more information. And I want to lead into this. This is not a sponsor thing. This is a gambling thing. The spread for game 2 is out, and the Golden State Warriors are massive underdogs in game 2. I just had it in front of me. I think it was -10 is the line. Here it is. Yes, the Warriors are 10-point underdogs. The money line for that game, it is juicy. Plus 362 is the money line, meaning if you bet 100 on the Warriors to win game 2, you're going to get $362 back. Those are some odds right there. Check out MyBookie, by the way, a little plug there as well for some gambling tips. But what any gambling advice for the audience? Anyone?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, it's like if this had been a regular series with a healthy Steph Curry, then I think that spread makes sense because the Warriors came for what they wanted. They have home court. They took home court, and they're going home 1-1, and they're fine with that. And then I could see them trying to, not expend too much energy. And so if they do fall behind, maybe they do get, their doors blown off in game 2 because they're trying to preserve Steph and Draymond and Jimmy and this and that. But now that Steph's hurt, I think Golden State comes out and says, screw the T-Wolves. We're better than the T-Wolves. There was nothing that I saw tonight, and there was nothing that the Warriors saw tonight that should make them think that they can't come out in game 2 and do it all over again. And if I was Kerr, I would do a major sell job, and I would coach that first half. Don't let the crowd get into it. Be quick on the timeouts and coach that thing like it's a game 7 that you don't want to get away from you, and just see if you can whole roster it and go. Because if you go up 2-0, it is absolutely over, and you need that. The Warriors need to dispatch somebody in short order, and the only somebody that they got in front of them is Minnesota. So I'd say come out. I like the Warriors in all those points to hang around and keep it close.
Good call.
But I may hedge a little bit. But like if the Warriors come out in that first quarter and take a lead, man, I may go in game. You know what I mean? I may hedge. Yeah. I may hedge because you know what? That first 5 or 6 minutes is going to probably tell you what's up, right? But I would probably play it that way. I like the idea of the Warriors hanging and getting all those points, but I think I want to see. I'd hedge it with probably not wagering until there was some movement in the first quarter.
I'll say this about game 2, man. If you're gonna just throw the dice and give players, and look, I know I'm synonymous with Kuminga. This is not like me just being a Kuminga fan. I'm being legitimate saying this. If there's ever a game to just give him 30 minutes and let him just develop a rhythm, let him actually develop confidence, I think this is the game, right? I mean, if you're going to roll the dice on things, and it goes beyond just Kuminga, like Quinn Post is another player who I don't think really got a rhythm tonight. Quinn Post tonight played 6 minutes, 20 seconds. You didn't really feel his impact out there. And he's also an example of why net rating is such a subjective statistic, because he's a plus 14 on this night. And I don't know if he made that level of impact, but Quinn Post, Guy Santos, who was a sixth man tonight, I believe, loved seeing that, or at least he was somewhere in that range. He came off the bench pretty fast. I'd love to see some experimentation in game 2. Why not? You have the depth, you have the talent. Throw it at the Wolves, man. See what happens. Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. I mean, that's a philosophy that they can employ based off what they did tonight. Why not? Defense travels. So I mean, I would be disappointed if we didn't have the same level of engagement defensively from the Warriors, because if they do that, they're going to be pretty close. The game is going to be close because, I mean, the likelihood of Minnesota shooting better is high. So they're going to make more shots. But the Warriors defensively, they have a terrific scheme. And if they hang around, like you guys are saying, they could potentially win game 2, because Minnesota's execution in half court is not good. If I'm coaching Minnesota, know what I do? I put Rudy on the bench and I start Nas. I started him at the 5 because then that puts pressure on Draymond or whomever is guarding him to come out and actually, defend him. And maybe you get some one-on-ones to the basket for Minnesota. I don't think Chris is going to do that. I think he's going to stick with what he's done before, and the Warriors are just going to rest on offense, take their time, eat the shot clock up, draw fouls, and possibly sneak out of there with a victory. It would not surprise me if the Warriors won, because I don't see Minnesota making the likely adjustments that they need to make.
Pay chats. There's still a lot more of these. We're gonna go through them right now. Michael, $5, saying that Kevon Looney looks more effective versus Minnesota than he did versus Şengün and Adams. Kuminga looked more comfortable tonight. Refreshing to see. I agree. I've said this before, and I'll say it again because why not? Kevon Looney, when he's in a series matched up against bigs who have offensive skill sets, he can struggle at times. Like those are the matchups that he does not thrive in because he's not a great shot blocker. You see Jokic. You saw Şengün for a lot of that series. Game 7, Kevon Looney was fantastic. But generally speaking, he struggles sometimes against bigs who have a great offensive skill sets. There's no one on Minnesota who I think poses an issue for Kevon Looney. I say run him out there, man. Like, this is a series for Kevon Looney to be a factor as an interior defender, rebounder. Sign me up, man. Anyone else have thoughts on
you
Looney?
might even see a little TJD in this series too.
Ooh.
I like playing Looney strategically. Like, to me, it seems like he's a really good guy to finish with when you have a lead because he plays with a lot of poise in the half court. He makes a lot of really good decisions in the half court. He'll wind up sliding to the hole and getting a nice little layup. And, some of his plays in the second half I thought were absolutely critical to their victory for sure.
Flex Vanity, not a pay chat, but he says, pop that pimple aside. This is a lesson, okay? Like, wear sunscreen. This is actually skin cancer. Get taken care of, all right? Don't put yourself in a position like me where I have to get biopsies and I might have to get a second procedure. Like, just don't put yourself in that position. So I wish it was a pimple. Simon 2 brings up a good question, also not paid. Who would you rather face if the Warriors actually get out of this second round and they're in the Western Conference Finals? Again, that Denver OKC series is riveting. I'm watching every minute of that series. And as long as it goes 7 games, I think that's the best thing you could ask for. I have no clue who I prefer. I think I'd lean towards OKC, but I really don't know. I'd
rather play OKC.
Yeah.
I mean, the way Aaron Gordon is looking right now, Aaron Gordon's never looked better, I think, as a scorer. Right. And it's just, you're talking about a guy who's a great athlete and he's playing under control in the half court. He's playing the best ball of his career right now. I wouldn't want to go up against Jokic and him. The rest of that team, I mean, I just think I like the matchup better against OKC than Denver. Something about Denver screams they got no shot.
What do you think, Frank?
Denver is a tougher matchup for the Warriors for what Larry's saying. One-on-one, they can score. I mean, Jokic, I put a tweet out today and I said this. I'm finally on board. Jokic is the best offensive center in history.
You might be right. You might be right.
And I've watched basketball. I'm going to say he's a better offensive player than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now,
real quick, Frank. Let me throw this in real quickly before you continue. The old school guys would probably push back on you and say, are you seriously going to leave Wilt Chamberlain out of this discussion? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I am, because I didn't see I didn't see the diversity in Wilt Chamberlain's game. Now,
what about Olajuwon at the end?
Well, I mean, I think Jokic has a better offensive game. And now, mind this, I didn't say he was a better player than those guys. I didn't say he was a better player than Jabbar or any of these guys, Russell. I didn't say that. I said offensively, he has the best offensive game of any center that I've ever seen. Jabbar couldn't shoot from the three-point line. I mean, Jabbar couldn't face up from the free throw line and get by his man. The other thing is, Jokic Nah, yeah, Patrick was a fall-away jumper from the baseline, good defender. Now, here's the thing about Jokic. That dude's shoulders are broad. He's strong as hell. So he can get to his spots. His footwork, you know who he looks like, Larry? He looks like one of the Philadelphia Eagles offensive linemen. That's who he looks like.
Yeah.
Wide shoulders, great hands, great feet.
Let me ask you guys this. Let me ask you this. Seen a lot of highlights of Wilt. How good would Wilt have been with the Euro step?
Oh, Jesus.
Well, and isn't what if we threw McHale as a center? I mean, McHale was an incrable scorer.
Would be a center in today's game. Yeah.
Here's the one question I wanted to ask you guys that I've been meaning to ask you during this thing. Did the Warriors shut down? Did Gary Payton and the Warriors shut down Anthony Edwards, or did Edwards shut himself down?
Larry, I'm glad you asked that because to answer your question, I think Anthony Edwards had a slow start. And whether that was rust, whether that was defense, what I want to say is about Anthony Edwards, some players don't start games fast, right? Like everyone's different. And some players just start slow. Anthony Edwards is notorious for this. If you watched him this season, he had a lot of first halves of games where he put up really low totals and just looked out of it. And then the second half, you suddenly see him wake up and have the game of his life. And this is where minutes matter. This is where, like, certain players, you can't treat them like role players and just put them out there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes at a time. And if they make a mistake, you pull them out right away. Like, some players are not built like that. Some guys you have to give a run to. Anthony Edwards is an example of that. I've seen him do this in the first half before, but I also think every top seed had a rough first game. And the rust, the time off played a part in this, man. Like the Warriors just 2 days ago played a game 7. That was fresh in their mind. They were in such game mode for this matchup tonight, whereas Minnesota had 5 days off to who knows what they're doing in the 5 days. I'm sure they're working out and studying film, but they're human beings. You know, they're multimillionaires who probably also have some fun in the process. And they did not look as rested and ready. Maybe rested is the wrong word, but as ready as the Warriors in this game. And I do think that played a part of this.
Hey, did you guys, that's true. That is true. Did you guys mention about Steph playing 46 minutes on Sunday?
No, bring that up.
Yeah.
Good point.
He played 46 and a half minutes, and he never played a game even close to that all year long. He played 40. Then you have the travel, and that is a stress injury that he was wiped out. And the one thing I don't understand is why he didn't pull him out with the last 2-3 minutes to go when they were up like double digits. I know they wanted to make sure he got it done, but Steph had played so many minutes, and that was it. I think that's why he got hurt.
It's a good point. And it's why I constantly harp on the Warriors' depth and the fact that you need to tap into that bench if you're going to make 4 rounds.
It's also why you can't go 7 games in every round. You got to dispatch one team quickly, because if you play extra games, somebody could get hurt in one of those extra games, and your whole postseason outlook changes.
That is a very good point, Dan. A few more paid chats. There's a lot of these. MSQ, $1.99, saying the Wolves slept on Phoenix, Denver in 2024, and the Lakers and other Warriors this year. Thoughts? They're a team that sometimes just doesn't look mentally prepared. I've noticed that too. Anyone else?
Yeah, and that's a combination of the players and also coaching. I mean, they play a pretty basic style of basketball. Naz Reid gets the ball beyond the free throw line. He launches threes. If he makes them, then whoop-de-doo. But most of the time against good defensive teams, you're going to be guarded. Anthony Edwards, again, he played 1 year of college. You never see him post up. Think about the Phil Jackson-led Lakers and Chicago Bulls. Every now and then, Jordan would go to the post. They would clear it out, and he would get to the free throw line. Kobe would go to the post. There's a lot of things that Chris Finch can do to help this kid. He doesn't run a whole lot of pick and roll where he's setting the pick and then flaring out for a catch and shoot. He always has the ball in his hand, driving into a pick. The Warriors switch on that. So you got to be diversified offensively to help him. Otherwise, he's going to be a streaky offensive player. That's where good coaching comes in.
Chris Finch reminds me of he's like the epitome of the average coach. Like he just does like nothing he does blows you away. He doesn't really do stupid things a lot of the time. He's just average. Well, I don't know.
You speak about coaching their side. It's interesting because that Rockets series went 7 because of Ime Udoka. He had those guys ready to play, and he put together that zone. Yeah. And that Houston team has, if you look at the way they play, they took on the personality of their coach. It kind of seems like Minnesota's taken the personality of Finch. These guys look a little laid back at times. And you think about Minnesota. They've got Gobert and Reed, DiVincenzo, Randall, and Conley, and who am I missing? McDaniel. A lot of these guys are kind of their own. They're not cohesive, is what I guess I'm saying, compared to the way Houston played. Houston bought into everything Udoka was getting them to do. And this team, they're better players than Houston, but they don't play together as well. And that's to the Warriors' advantage, I think.
Well, you can also close out on the 3-point line against Minnesota with a lot more ferocity because they don't have the ability to put it on the deck and go by you. I mean, Naz Reid is not going to be like, oh, you closed out of me. I'm now going to put it on the deck. And no, he doesn't. That's not his game. He's going to shoot that 3. And they got 3 or 4 guys like that are going to shoot that 3. So, I mean, if you look at if you said if I'm Minnesota's coach, I'm going, wait a second. We shot 17% from 3 and we took 29 of them, 29 threes, and they weren't falling.
Number, Larry. Yeah.
But I mean, if you're shooting 17%, no, I know, but if they're not falling, man, put it on the deck and go to the hole. Especially, you're the bigger team. You're the bigger team. They didn't have their biggest star for 3/4 of the game, and you never really threatened them. What did they closed it to like 13 at one point? It wasn't.
And Larry, and I feel like every time the Timberwolves made a run, it was because they abandoned the 3 and went for the easy 2. And every single run the Timberwolves did was because they kept finding easy buckets, driving to the lane. I also hate giving the T-Wolves advice on this program because if I've learned anything, it's that you'd be surprised who watches us. And like, for example, your Naz Reid idea to start him, good idea. I'm not going to repeat that again because I don't want to help Minnesota, but that is a good idea.
I was just thinking that Reed and Gobert, I expect Minnesota to actually try to get the ball into the post.
Oh yeah.
On Thursday night. And that's why I think you're going to see Looney. And I think you might have to see some Trace Jackson Davis. This seems like more of a series for Davis than it does Post in some ways, because I think he's more athletic and he can get the boards and he can defend those guys. Post, if Post is really his best defense is when he's kind of backing down and he's trying to help out. One-on-one, forget it. He's a post. He's definitely a post.
He's a bad defender. But you know what? I bet you anything Steve's going to choose him as one of the areas that they can find more points without Steph. And I would say don't bank on Trace Jackson Davis. Bank on them trying to find some points at a post.
I wish they put defense as the priority because I think you could shut down Minnesota. If you shut down Minnesota, you can find your points, as you saw with Jimmy. I mean, problem is with the Warriors. The problem with the Warriors, they did. The Warriors live and die by the 3. They have all year, and if they are hitting threes, they're going to win the majority of the games. Tonight, what was the Warriors from 3? They were 18 of 42.
They were good,
but it's 43%.
That's great. Yeah.
Very good. If they hit anything 37, 38 and above, they're in the game. But if they're around the low 30s, the Warriors almost always lose.
I want to talk about Draymond Green because we haven't even touched on him yet, but I got to get through these pay chats first. But Draymond had a great game, I thought. Especially there was one play where Jimmy fell on the ground. He got fouled by Dante DiVincenzo, who's then standing over him, lurking. Like you do something like that, Jimmy Butler. It would not surprise me if Jimmy just a split second longer could have snapped. Like players don't like other players just standing over them like that. And you saw Draymond Green just step in, just broke it up really fast, just pushed Dante away. Who knew that Draymond Green could be a peacemaker? And he had a great game again. We'll talk about that in just a second. There's so many pay chats. I got to get through these. MSQ dropping another $1.99, saying, reminding us about what happened the last time the Warriors were in the conference semifinals. That was the Lakers series. I don't know why you're bringing that up, but I remember that vividly, and it sucked. And hold on.
There was a guy named Anthony Davis that was there. And
he
LeBron
was part of
James.
the Lakers then, yeah. And the Warriors did not counter that. But I like this, though. MSQ dropping another $1.99, referring to what we were talking about way earlier, Michael Jordan's sons battling. We didn't know what that meant. Here's some clarity, and I get it now. He's referring to Anthony Edwards and Jimmy Butler, who he's calling like Jordan's successors in the modern era, and how they went against each other. It was a fantastic matchup. I love it. To me, the Warriors have an answer for Anthony Edwards, and his name is Jimmy Butler. Any thoughts there?
Or GP2.
And
I would say this, man, this Wolves team, especially with no Karl Anthony Towns, cannot beat you unless Edwards is putting up monster numbers. Just blanket him with an athlete the entire game, never leave him, and the series will be over shortly.
Good point. Jim Mollet, Larry, I believe he's an old friend of yours, dropping $5, saying, Ice Follies had a great defensive rating. Show some goddamn respect.
That's right.
Into Quiet Us, $1.99, saying, are the Warriors a bad matchup for Minnesota? Rudy Gobert is bad. Yeah, I look, they lost 3 out of 4 this season for a reason. You look back to most regular season matchups, and I agree that they're irrelevant. I don't know if that's true in this case, though. Minnesota, all 4 of those games had the exact same roster that we saw tonight, and the Warriors just got better. It could be. Do you guys agree with the sentiment? Disagree? Any thoughts?
Again, it comes down to half-court execution. Most of those games are really tight. I think maybe one game the Warriors played on the road, they kind of stretched away from them. But Minnesota has a big problem executing in the half court. Mm-hmm. So it comes down to whether or not they're making shots. If they're making shots, then they can beat you. That's a tough proposition for most NBA teams to overcome against good defensive teams. So from a coaching perspective, like you guys have said before, I mean, why not put Rudy Gobert on the block and have Julius Randle at the free throw line just feeding him like a college offense to get the Warriors in foul trouble? There's a lot of things you can try. Doing what they did tonight gives the Warriors a great chance to beat them again because they're not going to shoot a high percentage against contested perimeter shots. The Warriors are probably not going to turn it over. The Warriors are going to make more shots. So it's going to be a close game. So if they're not creative, they stand a chance to be in trouble again. So this should be interesting.
We're almost through the paid chats. NBA Elias, $1.99, asking, what play or how did Curry get hurt? I think it was just an off the ball. It was like a non-contact type thing. Wasn't he just running and just all of a sudden he got limp? I think that's how it went, right?
Yeah. He just grabbed his hamstring and obviously grabbed on him. But yeah, I think the minutes from the other day is probably the most likely
good call. And that's Dan. Great call on that. We didn't touch on that before you got here. Armando Lara, $1.99, saying, not these guys again. I know. Sorry. It's just, what are you going to do? Let the jet fly, $1.99, saying, Cy, it's about winning, not rhythm. I don't remember what that's in reference to, but sure. Okay. Anthony Markoulis did not pay for this, but I highlighted it because he is asking everyone, did anyone see that lady who was working at the scoring table where the refs were watching replays? I feel that could have been a distracting factor. I don't know what he's talking about. Do you guys?
I didn't see her.
I'm all about the talent evaluation. I missed the talent, though. I didn't see it. I apologize.
Something tells me it was probably the guy's probably overstating it.
Okay. Overrated. He's overrated. He's overstating. All right, let the jet fly.
Just a guess.
Quinn Post has been horrible on D, and Trace Jackson Davis has been bad. Let the jet fly. Dropping that take, $1.99. And MSQ, final paid chat of the night, another $1.99, saying, For sponsors, we are brought to you by our super chats. I mean, look, the good thing about the super chats is each and every one of you are bringing takes. Like, it's some of them are great content that you guys are producing. So thank you. I love it. Draymond Green tonight I thought was spectacular, and he got in foul trouble, so he missed a lot of minutes in the fourth quarter. Thankfully, it did not cost the Warriors, but he shot almost 50% from the field. He shot 40% from three. He took 10 3-point attempts, and in big moments, he makes them. Finished the game tonight, 18 points, added 6 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, did have 4 turnovers, and a couple of those were pretty bad, but still finished a plus 11, had 18 points in this game. I thought this was a vintage Draymond Green performance. Larry, what'd you see from Dre tonight?
Well, I mean, he made 4 of 5 threes, and then he missed 5 in a row to finish the night.
Yeah.
But those early threes absolutely were giving this team exactly what they needed. I mean, when Steph went out, immediately that the Warriors are hurting bad for offense. And to see Green rain down 3 threes in a very short amount of time, right around the point where Steph went out, I thought gave this team a huge shot in the arm. He also tried in those first sequences when Steph went out to push the pace and get some easy offense. Now, this game was played largely in the half court by both teams, but you could see Green, facilitating and providing points. And, when he's doing that, when he's staying calm and under control, when he's facilitating, when he's hitting threes, I mean, you're talking about one of the best players in basketball, because we know what his will is. We know what his brain is. We know what his intensity is like, what he is as a defender. So when he's raining down threes and especially late in the shot clock, and he's shooting it with confidence, I love the way he looks right now. He looks really, and without Steph, it's like he knows he's one of the guys who has to lead them. And I'll say this about Draymond Green. I mean, he does not, this guy shows up big in the moment in a lot of ways. And I've always felt this way. I feel like Draymond Green is what all Warrior fans wanted Chris Webber to be. We wanted Webber to be this amazing all-around player inside who was a defender, guarded bigger guys, led them to championships. And it's like it didn't work out, right? I mean, it's like he got moved on for Gugliotta, and the rest is history. Draymond shows up, a few years later and literally has had the career that I dreamt Chris Webber would have.
When did a few become 20? He was 20 years later. Who cares?
Well, it was a number of years later. But I mean,
it was, but I hear what you're saying, though. I mean, 1 year of Chris Webber, that'll forever break my heart. I guess technically 2, right? Didn't he come back for a brief moment and play here his final season too, but he was hurt, banged up.
Yeah, but no, he played here. I guess he played here for 2 years.
I think it was the year after the We Believe's team. Like, remember the second season, they won 48 games, and despite that, incredibly did not make the playoffs. That's how deep the West was in 2008 or 9, whatever that was. I think Chris Webber was part of that team, and then he got hurt. I think, if someone wants to correct me on that. Any final thoughts? Are we done? I mean, we've gone almost 2 hours. I feel like we covered every angle.
I don't know. I was just in the background, just listening to the Chai Lights singing, "Have you seen, huh? Tell me, have you seen?" I was thinking about that woman at the score table.
Well, we got an update on that. I'm glad you brought that up, Dan. Apparently, the
have you seen, huh? You know that song, right?
If you try singing that one more time, I think we might be able to get that.
I might get like the Pittsburgh Pirate fan and get ejected out of the seat.
Have you noticed that Frank has never offered to collab with you in any kind of a musical sense?
I've noticed.
Have you noticed that?
I don't have much music talent. I know that.
And it's not because, there's HOA regulations either.
Yeah, I'm no longer in that HOA.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait a second.
I sold the house.
That opens up a myriad of options.
HR in the chat saying the distraction of the scores table had a strong resemblance to Anna de Artemis, the actress. So that's true. Yeah, that's a distraction. I think more so for the players than anyone else, right? I mean, you're getting into the game. You look to your left or right. You're what's this? Hello. Do you know I play in the NBA? You know,
I think the players are remarkably under control, to be completely honest.
Could you imagine if you're a pro basketball player, like all the lines you can spit? First of all, you don't have to spit lines at all. You just basically you reserve your corner in the club and you just sit there and wait for them to come to you. But if you have to actually spit lines, I have 50 million.
I'd like to ask Frank a question as a guy who played college basketball, and when you played 3-4 games in 5 days or whatever. What is it like what Steve Kerr said they're going to give these guys just the total day off tomorrow, no film, nothing? What does that do for you mentally, physically, everything?
I don't truly believe it. I think what he said is that that's a treatment day. That's what it means. It means that we're not going to have an official practice. Now, the guys who played heavy minutes, maybe they won't do anything basketball related, but there'll be some guys on that team that will be in there working their tails off, doing individual work, running, maybe getting more extra time in the playbook. So NBA players never have a, quote, day off. That means that the primary players have a day off. But the regular guys, they're never off. And coaches are never off. So that's what it means. To the public, that means Draymond and Jimmy Butler will probably be in the jacuzzi or doing some other stuff, going shopping or something.
Healing, yes, getting treatment. Yeah.
Hey, how is it on the road with these guys? At home they've got all their facilities. They got what do they have? As
the
far
nicest
as
hotels, Matt, Dan. Just that's nicest hotels, all the amenities in the hotel.
Yes.
But they leave too. I mean, from what I've heard is they also depends on how much time you have. Like all the players have a schedule. Like for the Warriors, Raymond Ritter and his staff just take care of everything, right? Which is one of the many insane perks of the Warriors of an NBA player, period, is everything's done for you. Like diet, what am I going to wear? Here you go, sir. It's all set up for you. And when they're on the road, they have a really strict schedule, like an itinerary. But if it's a situation like it was this season, in case you guys forgot, that road trip where they had Atlanta, then 2 days off, then Miami, then 2 days off, then New Orleans, and remember Brandon Pajemski had the sunburn, and that was just set up for the Warriors to fail. Like right, Frank, Dan? I mean, that was insane. I mean, every former player just looked at that and thought to themselves,
I saw that Miami game.
That's why a lot of wives go on those trips. That's why. Because they want to make sure that things are stable. Now, for the young guys, it's a crazy experience. I'm sure.
It destroys lives too, right?
If you ever saw the Dream Team video, they went to Monte Carlo, and there was all these topless women at the pool, and Charles Barkley was like, "Man, I was living at that pool." Patrick Ewing was like, you never sign this many autographs normally.
One final basketball question before you go, and I think it's a good topic to finish the show on. Pinoy Reformat in the chat is asking, who replaces Steph in the lineup? And this is a topic that I've kind of given up on because I don't know how you can predict what Kerr's going to do, which may be a good thing, right? I mean, it leaves opposing defenses on their toes, opposing teams in general, not knowing what they're going to face to start a game. But I have no clue, man. I mean, if I had my pick, I'm going Kuminga. I want some size, and I want him to get going early, but that's me. What do you guys think? Larry, who's in your starting five now that Steph is out?
Moses.
Ooh, try to get his game back?
Yeah, I think Moses. I think that everybody moves up a spot. I mean, you ask more of Pajemski, and you go with Moses.
Frank,
I'm gonna take Quentin Post.
Ooh, I like that too. That too. Dan,
I like Moses. Hopefully, he can part the lane and drive in.
I like it.
Look at that, part the lane. You see that?
You like that little.
That was the biblical reference. I mean, it shows depth.
That was good. That was good, Dan.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Are we good? Are we done?
I actually have something that, on a serious note. On a real serious note.
On a serious note. just kidding. Go ahead.
Over at NorCal Sports Network and another network, Giant Sports Talk Live, we're trying to help a young 20-year-old who came down with a rare form of liver cancer. And Lou Marston, who has season tickets, the front row right next to the Giants dugout, we're giving away 4 tickets. So if you would go over to, if you want to buy a chance to win, it's $20. We're doing 100 squares, and then we'll pick a number, and we're donating $2,000. The girls, next Sunday night, we're going to have a show where the girl's best friend's going to come on, and she's an athlete, this girl. She was doing some kind of workout or test and just was not feeling right. They did some tests, found out she's got some very rare form of liver cancer. So it's a great cause. If you donate $20, you can buy up to 5 squares. So $100. These tickets are worth $1,000.
How can people donate though? Like, is there a link or?
Yeah, we have it over on our channel. I wish I could get it to you. I'm going to try and post it on Twitter.
Do that. And how can people follow you on Twitter?
Yeah, right there below my name at NorCal Sports NW.
Don't forget, people listen on a podcast too. So say that again.
NorCal Sports NW.
So go there on Twitter, NorCal Sports NW, and Dan will post the link so you can help this.
Yeah, and if you want to,
it's tragic. 20 years old.
And it's not just you win the tickets. You win 4 front row seats. You get your on the field before the game for batting practice, and you also get your name up on the scoreboard. So a company that wants to do it, whatever, it could be. But we're trying to. We've got 2 possible games in August, 2 Friday night games. So August 8th and August 29th. That way, if a family wins it and they've got school or they're on vacation, they could pick one of the games. So,
is she going to be okay, Dan? I mean, is this something that's going to be treatable?
I don't know. It's
Christ.
not a. It's a very rare form, so they're not really sure. But we're just trying to help out. This is really Lou Marston's the guy really heading this up. His tickets, his friend, he knows the girl, and so it's just a way of kind of giving back, helping out.
Yeah.
Hey, way to go, man.
Very thoughtful, altruistic. Dan, that's good stuff. That's a very sad story. No one at that age should be dealing with anything like that. That sucks. Well, thanks for bringing the show down as we wrap it up.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. That was very nice.
Yeah.
Larry, any final thoughts?
No, other than it was good to see you guys. Always good to wrap and talk basketball. And let's do it again. Let's see. We go
2 days. Every game is just 1 day off. Like it's
so we're Tuesday. So maybe
yeah,
maybe a little Thursday night. Maybe we'll go a little Thursday night post. Do we know what time Thursday they're playing?
Yes. And Larry, you're going to be taking the lead on that one. We're going to alternate. Game 2. I'll just schedule right in front of me. Apologies for that. Tip off 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, I believe. Yes, that's what it's.
Yeah, 5:30.
It's about 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, 8:30, something like that.
Yes, somewhere around there, exactly.
Yeah. So I look forward to talking more hoops with you guys throughout this run, and it's always
one
fun.
more pay chat, Larry, and this is on your side of things. Andrew Markoulis, are you familiar with him?
No.
Dropping $20, saying, "Here's 20. Buy me a square."
Oh,
and put your name on it. Larry, if it wins, donate all the money to the cause.
There you go. We can do that. Danny,
Andrew, thanks for putting that on Larry and on me. I appreciate
it. I'll get you a square. Just
get me a square, Danny.
Yeah, all you got to do, I'll get you the QR code, and it just immediately sends $20 to the, who's collecting the money. We're already fronting the money to them, the $2,000. So then we'll sell the squares, and then the guy who's collecting it will, just get paid that way. So.
Laura Doan, by the way, is one of my favorite human beings on the planet. Golden Dazer as well, right? And she's in England, and she writes, I know recently, but if Steph's out, I think you missed a word somewhere in there. But if Steph's out, we got to give him another run. If it fails, then they take him out. I'm hoping to see Moody get a chance. I don't know who the player is, though, that you were referencing. I feel like you left something out there. But
what's that say? I know recently if Steph's out, we got Quentin Cook.
Quinn Cook? No.
I mean, what's
Quinn Cook? Are you joking?
not? What was the kid's name? Cook, the guard. What was his name?
Quinn Cook.
It was
played-
Mr.
Quinn Cook.
Jennings. Mr. Jennings, I think you're talking about Mr. Jennings.
Quinn Cook.
Oh,
He's
that's
the guy-
another old one. I like that.
Wasn't that when Steph was out? Quinn Cook started.
Lord don't says Moody's what she's talking
Moody.
about. There we go.
Quinn Cook.
What was he talking? I was talking about when he said Steph was out. Was he talking about the playoffs?
I think what you meant, Dan, is Terry Teagle. Terry Teagle.
Oh, with the elbow. I modeled my fadeaways after Terry Teagle, man.
Oh, okay. She's talking about something recent. I saw.
You're
this
talking
end of
Winston
it.
Garland. She's talking Moses Moody.
Yeah. I just remember when Curry was out years ago when they had Quinn Cook. I didn't see the whole.
So the consensus is saying Moses Moody to step in the starting lineup. I don't hate it.
There you go.
I just hope the shot starts falling. All right,
I like-
Dan.
I like Moody.
Great jobs in all seriousness, raising awareness for this tragic situation. I really hope there's hope. That's what
Yeah.
I hope. Frank, any final words? Any thoughts before we?
No, just thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Give me a follow at Big Frank Red. Subscribe to the In the Dungeon show, and that's it, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate talking basketball to all you guys, and look forward to the next opportunity.
Are you two back Thursday with us? Because we're doing this all postseason.
Yeah.
Dan says yes.
Yeah, I can do Thursday.
Yes. All right. So this is our panel for Thursday. Rice Smith may join us as well, and who knows who else. But Larry, you're taking the lead on that one, and I'm excited.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
For all of these. These are fun. Thanks to the audience. Thanks to everybody. Full of love everywhere, especially for that individual, Dan. I really hope she's okay or ends up being okay. And thank you again for what you're doing. And go Dubs. Huge win. 1-0 series lead. Larry, what's coming up tomorrow on your channel before you go? Promote your channels before we go. Let's end on that note.
Yeah, I mean, everybody hit like and subscribe on the Krueger show. We had Brian Baldinger on today. We're really fired up about that. Tomorrow's going to be kind of a light day. I'll be doing some videos. I'll be doing Niners Nightly tomorrow on KMBR at 6 o'clock. Ryan Fowler from the Draft Network is going to stop by. So check that out between 6 and 7 tomorrow night. And looking forward to Thursday night's stream. And then Friday and Saturday, I'll be in Santa Clara for rookie minicamp.
Wow. That's already here.
Yeah, rookie minicamp.
Jeez,
starts on
that's
Friday.
interesting. Frank, what do you got on the dungeon?
Just kind of a weekly recap of what's going on. I'll do my movie thing this week. I'll critique a movie, maybe talk some music.
What movie?
Maybe the Marvel joint. It's getting some good ratings, so I might go check that one out. Yeah, Thunderbolt. I might check.
Let me know
out.
how I'm excited to see that. That looks good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
The one cool thing about doing a show once a week is that we literally have the gambit of all the topics, and fortunately, the numbers are picking up a little bit with me not marketing a great deal. So I'm really happy and very grateful to have people check me out. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Dan, anything you want to promote besides the fundraiser?
Yeah, tomorrow afternoon, about 2 o'clock after the Giants Cubs. Put a little Giants hat on there. We'll do a little Giants post game. Hopefully they can win the rubber match of the series and keep it going. But Giants have been playing, pretty decent baseball this year. They're 23-14, I think, on the year, and they're hanging in there. So
Beautiful.
We'll do a post game wrap tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Roughly.
All right. Great job, everybody. And Damon Bruce and I will do a collab tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Warriors Weekly, and then we're back at this Thursday for Game 2. The Warriors again up 1-0. Great game. Great job, everybody. Thank you all. Are we done?
We're done.
We're done.
We're done? Okay.